Hi, and welcome back to Elimu Café. If you're new here, karibu, and thanks for joining us today. We continue our conversation with Mr. Clifford Oluoch to talk about the IGCSE curriculum. So sit back, relax, and let's learn together. All right, so let's talk about now the classroom approach. As you said, is, as you told us in the previous episode, we've talked about how it runs from early years foundation stage all the way to the key stages, all the way to IGCSE. But what kind of training do teachers need to have to be in this curriculum? Because there must be some difference, I believe, in your opinion and also in your experience. Because is there anything that's different?
Wow, that's a tough one, in the sense because it goes to the core of teacher training, which I feel, having worked with some of those, I would call them expatriates, I saw a huge difference in the way they delivered the lesson, in the sense of they owned it. They have gone through that as students, then they went and studied it and came back, kind of. Whereas for us, we went through a different system as students. And then we ended up being in a system that did not match what we were trained at college. So locally, there's no training for it. But what I know is that schools like Broaden do have a training system, and they do have the PGDE, whereby they enroll teachers' assistants, and then they train them on the job. And they makes more sense that way.
Then they upgrade.
Yes. Now, if they're being trained on the job, that means that there's something wrong. Sorry, wrong is
I know. It's something different.
There's something mismatching.
Yes.
Right, with what they want and what the product is out. Now, coming back to CBE, we've seen that. Is that the teachers who've been teaching 844 and our universities, the kind of teachers they're churning out. Okay. Has less emphasis on what I talked about, the collaboration learning. However, I have to make a big disclaimer over here. The kindergarten got it right. If you look at the Montessori system, if you look at the defunct Kenya Headmisters Association, KHA.
That was beautiful. That one was
exactly.
Beautiful.
So they got it right from the word go.
Yeah. And
it became like... it became paradoxical that as someone with a degree in early childhood was actually inferior to someone with a diploma.
Seconded.
Yeah, because the degree focused a lot on the administrative part of teaching.
And policy.
Exactly, rather than the hands-on. Yeah, so there's no training per se that will get you to do there's no training per se locally that will get you to be a good Cambridge teacher.
All right.
However, again, the higher you go, the more content heavy it becomes. Up to primary level in year 6, it's more of pedagogy and style and delivery. From year 7 onwards, you start veering more into content. By the time you're reaching A levels, it's more into content.
Yes.
But that does not mean that it is our understanding of content is always but where the teacher is delivering. Their concept of content is whereby where the teacher is taking you through inquiry-based and questioning you and allowing you to question. Whereas for us, if you question...
Yeah, so that means that teacher has to be very aware and very well read on particular topics for them to be able to ask certain questions.
I remember in a certain school, it's very funny. The kids in year 11, they're doing literature, and the book that we're using had been changed, and the teacher was not aware. Okay? So these kids being where they were, they go on social media, on internet, this. And of course, the following day, the kids come and see the principal and say, hey, this book changed. This book was changed. You're not supposed to be doing this book. So those are the kind of students you're dealing with. Right? You're not just going to tell them that because I've said this is the book that you're going to study.
That's it.
That's it. No, they will challenge you. And the teacher was summoned, kind of, it became a disciplinary cases. How can you not be aware
that the book changed?
The book changed.
And I think that's the thing about when I was in school, and I think I want to talk about what you said. I studied a degree in early childhood, and I remember my first stint now in teaching was, you would do the typical attachments, you'd call them practicums, but those ones were not serious. Actually, our practicums were more of observational to understand child development theories. But then I remember when I went for my first internship, which I will always sing her praises. She was called Miss Miranda. I think she's currently the head teacher, I think, at Hillcrest, if at all. But I remember I went to that class and I was shocked. I knew absolutely nothing. Like, she was teaching, I think it's called the reception class in early years.
Yes.
And I could do absolutely nothing. Yes. Like, I was completely useless in that class. I was doing worse off than her teaching assistant. I sat there and I had to learn literally everything. We had not learned anything on pedagogy. I didn't know. I used to, all my afternoons, she would give me like resources to read.
And which year was this?
This was in
third year. No, third year.
I was in my third year.
Yes.
Can you imagine? I was actually in my last year. So because now fourth year you come, it was that long holiday.
Yeah.
And every day I would be on.
3 years in uni.
Imagine I did not know what a thematic approach was. Like I had no clue how it would apply. But then for them it was so, like, I remember the one thing I remember about her, and that was maybe 13, 14 years ago. But it was like she was flowing. It's like she was floating. Like everything was working. And I'd ask her and she'd say, yeah, we were really trained on the, on the technical approaches for children. And she had so many things that she knew that made the class just work. And then I would go back here and I would see how we are struggling. And also because, as you said, they were taught on these learner-centered approaches. As the rational approach, mimi ndio mwalimu, I say what you have. So the children are just seated there. The class was vibrant. And I think it just, it stuck with me. I've never forgotten her. That small, I think I stayed with her for 3 months, but those 3 months I was like,
impactful. Our
training is so bad.
That's why KHA got it right. Because KHA is that in the morning, you are in a school. And then in the afternoon, you go for lessons.
Exactly.
For the whole year, for the whole 2 years.
Yes.
Right? So these 3 months, you're in this school.
Yes.
And then the next 3 months, you go to a different school.
Yes.
But every morning, you're in school.
Yes.
And then in the afternoon,
you come and learn.
Yes. So you learn on the job and you learn out of the job.
Exactly.
By the time you're leaving.
Exactly.
And same thing with Montessori, kind of.
Oh, yeah, it's very hands-on.
Very hands-on and very, kind of. And then if you look at some of these theories, I mean, Maria Montessori is like more than 50 years ago, but they're still...
still applicable.
Yes, they're applicable because they were revolutionary.
Yes.
And just like I said about Strathmore, some of these things, once you get them right, it does not matter about the generation. Even the digital generation, if they come with all those things, still manipulatives will still be about motor skills.
Exactly.
There's no motor skills in a digital device.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And you're saying, as you said, the whole concept of making the approach more geared towards understanding the child and then supporting the child having that understanding. Is it something that you feel could be incorporated in our trainings now? And do you feel like now that you've interacted more with different systems, and are you seeing, even as a head teacher, are you getting a better cohort now? Have universities and training centers taken at least some of these approaches in their teaching now than in the past?
The answer is an emphatic no.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that in the Kenyan context, the disconnect between the universities, the disconnect between the bodies handling education. Yeah. So universities, KICD, NEC, and MOE, and TSC, those 5, each of them is singing their own tune. That's number 1. Number 2, we don't put money into research. Okay, I mean, I've been a teacher. I've been in the teaching profession this is my 35th year. There is no single professor who has come to my school to ask to do research on children and whatever, kind of, right? In fact, it is, it is ironical that the 2 or 3 professors that I've received have come from have come from outside the country.
So that they can understand the child of today.
Because they're doing they say they were doing international curriculum. So they have to go to different countries and spend time
understanding
Okay.
Yeah.
So because of that, then you find because of that disconnect, the teacher training program is not synchronized to the output. I would rather can we start with the output?
Then
These are the students, then we come back and train. I mean, like right now, just to divulge a bit, there's a time I was training some teachers long before CBE, and I was trying to get to them into thinking. And one teacher just told me, I think you're in the wrong place. And I asked him why. I think you should be going to the TTCs. That's where the rot is.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's very, very incisive, kind of, right? That is, they're the ones who are churning us out. We're coming out like this.
Yes.
So if you get to them, then we won't come out like this.
Absolutely.
Now, same thing about the universities, same thing with the TTCs. The only time I've interacted with the TTCs is when I have received their students. The interns.
Yes.
And sometimes I've had to go and look for the interns.
Yes.
I tell them, hey, we have an internship. It's not that I need them. I don't need them.
Yes.
But we have an internship program whereby every year we take in 10 students, education, who've done education, teachers to be, and we mentor them for a year. Okay?
Yeah.
So to them, it's like, they'll be looking for schools to go and everything and all that. And even the kind of internship program that we have actually curated for this is more like KHA. You spend 5 lessons teaching, you spend 5 lessons observing, you spend 5 lessons observing someone in a different department, then you spend 5 lessons in the community. So you have 20 lessons in a week, where you're occupied, and you've got 4 mentors who are actually following you. So back to the question, I just feel that what we are churning out right now is mass production. It is mass production, and it's kind of getting worse because the lecture halls are getting bigger and bigger. The personalized attention is not there, and just like you, I went through that. Most of the interns who come, they almost say that my learning starts now.
Yeah.
This is when I'm starting to see how things are in a different perspective.
And I think, Nini, I think I always used to say, I wish that I'd even done something like a Kenya School of Education, even just as a finishing. Maybe, but then, maybe then it would, I always feel like maybe it would have helped, but I get what you mean. And
but they can still do it in the sense of your last year.
Yeah,
the fourth year that
becomes now purely practical.
I mean, medicine has not changed.
Yes.
So you finish your medical degree. What happens before you
become a resident?
Yes.
Yeah.
You finish your law degree. Where do you go?
You go to KSL.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think education is any different. All they have to tell you is that, listen, the last 1 year you have to spend the whole year at a school. Finishing school.
Yeah. Yes. Ensuring that now the things that you've learned, you can be able to apply.
Yeah.
And I remember, I want to just bring it back to you because as much as you're saying there isn't much that is happening, I want to applaud you because you've been conducting trainings.
Yes.
You trained my teachers and they were very happy. They were in shock. They came back to school and they were writing their reports. They were like, well, I didn't know that these layers to maths. You trained them in mathematics. So I have to give it to you that you've been intentional. Yeah, you have been intentional in at least creating these spaces for people to get, for teachers who want to better themselves and to improve on their pedagogy and their approaches and their thinking.
No, it is
and I think
important.
that's a good, I think it's good to acknowledge even your efforts. And we hope that one day you'll sit in those tables that then will make, and I agree with you. I feel like there are so many bodies and each one of them is just throwing something that's, it looks like there's no synergy. And always we are stuck in that. So-and-so is saying something, KICD is saying this, but then the ministry is telling us this. Yeah. And even you remember that time for the training, what was it called? The one that they tried to impose, but I think the courts, continuous professional development.
Oh, yeah, the TPAD.
Yeah, the TPAD. Even the way it was being done, it was it was just, it was a bit weird. It didn't look like it was supposed to be a good thing, but then you could tell everybody was bringing, it was a bit confusing. It was not geared towards... Because I was thinking,
and it's a comprehensive thing if you look at it.
Yes.
But again, it's borrowed from the West.
Exactly. The delivery.
It's borrowed from the West. Yes. It's not, we don't own it. It's not our language.
Yes.
Our principals are demigods.
Exactly.
So the person decides that doesn't like you.
Yes,
that is the end of you.
That's the end of you. Whether you're smart or you know everything about CBC, even as long as your head teacher is not in line with you.
No, they don't have time for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so now that being said, as you said, the standards are very important. The teaching standards are very important. That emanates from training for sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that, as you've said, you will have observed as something that is working in the international systems because they do value the training. Are there challenges that now, other than training, our teachers are experiencing, or when they come become teachers in these systems?
Yeah.
Even from your own experience, did you feel anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Yes. Of course, you realize quite a number of the teachers also teaching in the Cambridge system. Should I say local? Because I think the government has a 30-70 rule that only 30% can be expats, so 70% can be local.
Yeah.
But some of the schools cannot afford experts, so you end up with 100% local teachers delivering an international curriculum.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge I've seen is now, should I say almost all those teachers are from 844 background, which is an exam-oriented. So this has led to the Cambridge system being delivered locally to look like more of another exam-oriented system.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look, which is what CBE is going into, comprehensive school. If you look at the typical British curriculum school, they're all kind of comprehensive. They start from kindergarten all the way to A-levels. And there's almost seamless transition from one level to another level. So even the schools that I was at, for the child to move from year 6 to year 7, yes, they would write the Cambridge checkpoint exam.
Yeah.
But the Cambridge checkpoint exam results will not determine whether the child moves to year 7, or to which school. It will not determine. So it's an audit. In fact, I used to tell the parents that the Cambridge system first, it audits the education system within either the country or within the country of origin. So it's auditing first the country.
Yes.
Then secondly, it's auditing the school understanding of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Then third, it's auditing the teacher's delivery of that curriculum. Then fourth, it's auditing the student, right?
Yeah.
Within the Kenyan system, it's the other way around. We audit the student first.
Yes. The primary focus is the student.
Yes, exactly.
And then blame them for a while before we decide whether...
Yeah. So the biggest challenge that I saw was precisely treating Cambridge checkpoint like a KCPE and like a KCSE. So after the results are out, what are you going to see? You're going to see billboards, Cambridge billboards, all these A's and A stars and people buying acres and acres of land, of papers, of space in the papers, kind of to sell. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, the consumption of that is that the results are more important than the process. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. And then now I always ask myself, if you put photos of students in the papers, right? Okay, what about the ones who got D's and whatever?
Yeah.
The photos don't appear. They won't appear there.
Yeah.
So what message are you sending to that student that I'm not worthy and that? So that challenge I found. But again, it's a capitalistic approach into everything. Everything is about numbers. Everything is about getting money and getting numbers and whatever.
Yeah. And I think you're right. There's such someone told me once that it's a hangover of some sort. And it's, as you said, it's because of, I think there's a time, I think even one of the episodes, I talked about the neoliberal approach. Yeah. Because the focus becomes more on the customer than on the school. The school itself loses its direction in a way, but it has to align to what the market needs. And I have to say it's when there's a time someone told me in an institution you have two kinds of customers. You have the paying customer who is the parent, and then you have the end user, and the end user is a child. So you will focus on that end user, but if the parent is not paying fees, it's really, and I feel like the parent that is now joining which is now, because it's a new kind of parent, as you said, it's a new system. It's now become popular outside the expatriate circles. But that parent is still a parent of 844 because they were a child of 844. So they think that education is supposed to continue in that trajectory, that what did you get in maths? And you know, as you said, we told like failure because you didn't get B's and stuff. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as to how, and that's why I appreciate that you talked about the differentiation, because a lot of people don't understand how assessment is supposed to be for learning and not for advertisements. But then because again these parents, because I've had people talking, they're like, mtoto wangu anafanya vibaya sana kwa hii system, but it's because they're still operating on the bandwidth of 844.
Exactly. And I don't think there's any student who is a candidate in this country who is not facing private tuitions, whether it's in Cambridge or local curriculum. So it has become about passing the exam rather than
the end justifies the means kind of thing. And that's actually, you've just answered the question I wanted to ask, that the challenge, that is one of the biggest challenges, is outside, as you said, the teachers themselves are coming from a hangover of a system that promotes and encourages that end result. And then now they come into a system that is also very much controlled by a clientele that still believes that that's the case. But perhaps maybe in the future, do you think that there are things that can be done to sort of shift the mindset, or do you have to wait for a cohort? You know, like the British people, or the British, let me call them the international, the reason why they're like that is because it's something that is ingrained in them. As you said, the teacher has gone through the system, so they can advocate for it. Maybe, is it possible that in the future, then, like the children that we are teaching now, like for example, if I was teaching an IGCSE student and now they become a teacher, then there'll be a different, the mind shift will have changed, the mindset.
Well, I think I think we've lost that phase completely, and the plates have kind of shifted completely. The ground has shifted completely, and just to borrow from your word again, we are looking at a purely capitalistic world, and that you need to go back to your basics, and for you to go back to your basics, you have to ask yourself. Should I say back what I talked about? Are you fitting into a program, or is the program becoming, all these schools that are kind of coming up and everything, right? You ask yourself, what is the core of the school? Not the core business. What is the core? And you can't place a finger and say this is their core. When the missionaries came, the core was religion. Okay. And then education came, right? Exactly, right? No, it is, but those are religion, right?
Yes.
The few missionary schools that are still there have still tried to maintain that.
Absolutely.
Kind of, right? But fitting into that is also values, because religion has, right now it has evolved and all that. And there's no that love or, world of damnation and this. So the fear is gone completely. That was there before. So, back, what is the core? Now, capitalism has just made the core about money. So that's why it's like the business owners, they want numbers. The teacher is trying to survive
with these numbers.
Exactly, kind of. So if like you're in this shamba la mawe and I have to survive, and there's this parent who's willing to whatever. So you have all these tuition centers that are popping up and everything. I think we have lost that battle. So
and there's a time, as even in my experience, the time I talked to parents, and I think it came off as though I was being rude, but I was telling them, like, intelligence is not bought, capacity is not bought. There are certain things that no amount of money you're going to pour into this child is ever going to.
So no, kama nifala.
Like ubaya, like I see. Let me give an example of a person who struggled with math all through my life. No amount of money my mom could have paid for tuition would have changed that. I am not a logical learner. I'm not at all. But then I think because, as you said, because this thing has become so like. I'm paying all this money, why isn't my child? And the teacher gets the pressure, so it just falls back to the teacher, it falls back to the administration, and I think the practice, exactly, and that becomes a big challenge that now affects both As you said, if because it starts diluting
Yeah.
the system itself, because now it becomes very, what did my child get? And I think I appreciate that you've talked about that billboard thing, because it pisses me off completely, whether it's done by international schools or public schools or anything. Majority of the kids do not fall into that. They do not cross over to that ideal result. So what becomes of them? Do we leave them behind? And we are still talking about building everybody up, but then you're in that school and you're driving or walking with your parent and you notice that my name is not there.
Also your name might be there, but you did the core maths and you got an A.
Oh yeah.
So people are saying that, hey, usiwe ni chopi.
Yes. Kama siku zetu na mtu alifanya history versus pure sciences.
No, but the thing is, yes, to celebrate, there's nothing wrong with celebrating students.
Yes.
However.
Yes.
But I think it has taken a different turn.
It's taken a turn.
Completely. And we're losing the core.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And more schools, Cambridge schools are popping up.
Yeah.
Very many. Right? With all these, should I say, what do you call it? The demography changing and high rises coming up. There's certain areas in Kilimani, Lavington, Kilalesho areas where now the population
is also
right. The population is high and they don't have enough schools.
Yes.
So what do you have?
Not
you
enough
have
spaces.
There's not enough spaces. So schools are just popping up in residential areas.
That's true.
And what are they doing? They're offering the Cambridge system. They're offering the Cambridge system. But in essence, it's becoming like more of an exam center.
Yes.
Where the kids can just come, attend, write the exams.
Yes.
So the focus is more on
the exam.
On the exam,
yes.
Kind of right. So we are not. We I don't think we will reach that point whereby kind of we go back to the where we were, because where we were in the 70s was that the British curriculum schools were very few. And who do they serve? The expatriates.
Yes.
B, there was very little difference between the local curriculum and the international curriculum in terms of number of years, the setup and all that. Right? Now, when 844 came is when now things started changing completely.
Yeah.
Then now there was a kind of people saying, okay, this is superior because even the number of years are different and the delivery
is different.
Completely.
Yeah. And I think, and just in closing, how are they blending? Maybe not in closing, really. Let me ask another question first. How are they surviving, or how are our students as Kenyan students? How are they getting along post GCSE? For you, like the child has finished maybe the A levels or the, how are they able to maneuver, let's say, the Kenyan world? Is there a disconnect somewhere?
I don't think so. Maybe let me use my daughters as example, because courtesy of me teaching in international schools, I got free concession. So my two daughters went through the international system. One after A levels, one went to Daystar, and the other one now is in USIU. And the one who went to Daystar, the first thing she said is like, okay, the 844 students don't listen, right? Because when the lecturer is lecturing, okay, they don't pay attention. They're busy taking notes.
Oh yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, so she used to tell them, you guys listen. Because when she don't understand, she would stop the lecturer and then say, can you repeat this and whatever kind of thing, right? So he says that the listening skill was completely. Number two, he says those guys were more of hard workers than smart workers. Because he says after the lecture, everybody went to the library to confirm and further and everything. Yeah. And she kept on telling them, if you only had paid attention in class, this thing was... Yeah, right? And then three, this thing of collaboration. Within their class, later on, they formed study groups in her O levels, in her A levels, and everything. So they always had study groups amongst themselves. So
she understands how they... Yes.
Exactly. But it says over here in uni, it became now competition. Yes. You tell guys, let's form a study group. Do you know? No, because they're not used to it.
Yes.
Kind of. So in terms of fitting in, yes, she found it difficult because people were very different and all that. After some time, it's like, fine, then guys got used to this and whatever kind. But I don't think she had any problem at all, because even now, she finished her degree, went and did her master's. She's now in the psychology space and counseling space.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I think, I think the competition is because of how we are raised. Nani alikuwa number one, you are number two. There's always that becomes it's ingrained in you that you always have to be the best. But also just for you, for example, your girls went to private institutions.
Yes.
But I remember when I went back to school, because I remember when I went back to study law, I discovered that there are certain courses that you will not do beyond a certain point. Like, for example, I don't know if it's changed, but for example, if I was in school with an IGCSE, when we finished law school, they wouldn't go to KSL without having to do an exam.
Yes.
Like that. So this NEC accreditation, how are people navigating that?
No, I think now they accept, because I think the problem was what they call AS, which is like year 12. And okay, let me put it this way. Year 10 is O levels. So the people who after year 10 would apply to uni because they thought that they would equate year 10 to Form 4.
All right.
Right? So NEC had to come with a rule that year 11 will be equated to AS, which is like 12. Year 12, right? Okay. So Form 4. So they said you at least must have finished 1 year of A levels to apply for uni. Okay. If you complete your uni, there is no your A levels. Year 13.
Then you do not have this.
No, year 13. Then these are the conditions. So I know of many of my former students who ended up studying law or even studying medicine at University of Nairobi.
Okay.
But they had to go through A levels, finish A levels, and then there was actually, if you're coming from international curriculum, these are the requirements. If you're coming from the local curriculum, these are the requirements.
All right. I think that's the one thing people are always asking, like, beyond. And I think you're right. There's a bit of that's the question mark that has always been: will my children be okay in the local university? And thanks for clearing that up.
No, but also let me say that people have to start with the end in mind. If you're starting a Cambridge system, don't start a Cambridge. I tell parents very clearly. Okay, number one, university. Where are you looking at? I'm not sure. I say start from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it determines.
So, yes. So if you're looking at local university, there's no advantage per se. Even if you're looking at international, there's no advantage per se. The only advantage might be that it's better structured and it's not susceptible to overnight changes and political, mechanization and all that. That Uhuru's government goes, Ruto comes, Magoha finds himself, kind of, this guy started this.
Yeah.
And, it's not, that's what parents are scared of.
Yes.
They're not going into this because they want their kids to come out better.
Yeah.
It's like the disruption.
They want the stability.
They want that kind of stability. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, okay, thank God now there are pocket-friendly Cambridge schools.
Yeah.
But there's a time where you have some money, and you start on kindergarten because you can afford.
Then you check out.
Yeah, by the time you reach grade 4, you realize, okay, I've got 2 more kids
coming in.
And it is heavy, and you're looking at the school fees at year 13, and ridiculously, like, I can't. So people don't plan that far. So it's a journey that you have to plan for 13 years, from year 1 to year 13.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Plus the university.
Yes.
Plus the number of kids that you're thinking of getting. Before you plunge into it.
And that's I don't know if a lot of people but I think I appreciate that you said that it's good to see the future, and that would be a very good approach to it. And of course, notwithstanding understanding that there might be problems along the way, like I imagine, like with this Trump administration blocking or with the funding and everything, someone had probably thought through their 13 years, and now they're stuck in this. So that leads me to my last question. So is it possible for them to acclimatize to back, if, for example, circumstances change and they have to come back to CBC?
The answer is yes, because I think humans are adaptable. That's number one. And number two, there are people who will end up with a homeschooling option. Because maybe they feel that
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. The only difference when they come to the local curriculum is Kiswahili.
Yeah.
That is the only difference. Kiswahili is very heavy.
Yeah.
The rest, I've seen kids who have transitioned
And they've
from
done
international, and they come and joined us. I've seen kids who have come from abroad,
and they've joined.
and their parents have said, no, I want this child to go to a local curriculum school and all that.
Okay.
They've only struggled with Kiswahili.
All right.
The rest, they have adjusted very well.
Okay.
In fact, right now, one of my top students in Form 2 came from the US 4 years ago.
Oh.
And he's a top student. And even that Kiswahili that he's top at, right? It's only the spoken Kiswahili that
They struggle.
he struggles with.
But then don't we all struggle with the Kiswahili now? Whoever wrote that Kiswahili, I think he needs to be checked. We've come to the end of another episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, remember to like, remember to share, and to comment your thoughts on this episode and more. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm Teacher Leah, and see you next time. Bye.